No, that's news to me.
DJ Jones on IR
Yes.
today?
I'm not sure if it's today or I think that's by 1, so I think we have till tomorrow 1. But he will be. Yes.
DJ, did he play on a high ankle sprain in
Yes.
that game?
Yeah. That was pretty impressive. That's why we were somewhat optimistic about it. He did it early in the game too. It was one of the first couple, maybe the first drive. So that's why we were optimistic about it. But after they looked in there and stuff, it was too bad. It was going to be more likely 8 weeks. So, I talked to Lynch. That happened to him too. He had a high ankle sprain. He told me his first one. He finished the game on it. Thought it'd be all right. Then the next day he got up and couldn't walk. So sometimes the adrenaline just goes to where you can go through it. But he definitely can't play with it.
There was also a report that D Ford would be out 4 weeks. Is that accurate?
I don't know. I mean, when you have a hamstring, it's it can be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. I'm not very optimistic about next week, but hopefully we can get him back before hopefully the playoffs. But no, that's usually the timeline it lasts with a hamstring.
Do you know which ankle it was that DJ came into the game with the problem with, and then which one he injured during?
He came in with either his left or right one, and then he hurt the other one when he got in, but I don't know which order it went in.
How did Kentavious get through the week or just the last couple of weeks?
It's been real good. I mean, just getting him back out there. I know how hard he's worked to get out there. I think each week he's got more of his legs under him. I mean, he's been ready to go, but to get into football, practicing and everything, holding his gaps and stuff, looked in shape, healthy from the beginning, and now getting these weeks of practice. He definitely looks ready to go this week, and he's getting his opportunity.
That nickel spot, is that a situation where guys, the reserves have been working on the outside, also get reps there, so you guys can have that at outside?
Yeah, that's something you always have to work, especially with how many DBs you have up on game day. So everyone knows that spot is K1's for us, and when he's not out there, we have more than one option. But that's something guys are always working out through the games, and we got to do that with our safeties too.
Is there a lesson for Nick Bosa just in the fact that I know he wants more sacks than the one that he's had since October 27th, but just in terms of dealing with frustration as a pass rusher, I know he's obviously still playing well and affecting the game, but is there any message to him just about sticking with it?
Yeah, I don't think we've had to because, he has. I thought last week was one of his best games. I thought he was unbelievable last game. Not all over the stat sheet by any means, but when you're as good of a player as he is and what he's put on tape, people are going to make it a very strong point to not allow you to get on the stat sheet. And I think he's learning through that, how to, I think earlier in the season he got a little surprised when he was chipped. Now he expects it, and I think he's gotten a lot better at that. They had a huge game plan to take care of him last week, and I still think he impacted that game as much as anyone on our defense. So this is part of it. Rookies sometimes don't get this much attention, but he's earned it, and I still believe he's affecting that game a lot, even though you might not always see it on the stat sheet.
This has all the makings of a so-called trap game and all these tough games. The Falcons' record is what it is, etc. Do you have to address that with the team, or have you?
Yeah, you always address that. It's not as much about them. It's more, I think, what we've been through these last few weeks. And then when you know how people outside of this building will look at it because they aren't in the playoffs, they have been eliminated, the difference in the records and stuff, you want to address it. But it's been very easy for me. The way these guys have looked on tape these last 5 weeks, how hard they've played, the coaches that they have, the players that they have. And then when you turn on that tape and watch how hard they've been going, it hasn't been hard at all for me to tell the guys. As soon as they saw the tape, they could see that. These guys have won 3 out of their last 5 games. They beat a very good team in New Orleans, and it wasn't a close game. They beat them with ease. Beat Carolina last week by a lot. And it's not just luck. You turn on the tape and you can see why, and everyone knows the names that they have over there, and the team is playing at a very high level right now.
Couple more?
I think the MVP discussion is generally centered around quarterbacks, and I wouldn't expect George Kittle to become a candidate at any point. But just in terms of the way he impacts the game, is he up there in terms of best players in the league or most impactful?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I know I feel that way, and I'm pretty sure that everyone we play against would answer that the same way I just did.
What specifically? We see it.
Everyone knows he's talented, but that's not what makes you ask that question. I mean, he has a different, he's playing at a different level out there. The will he plays with, the aggressiveness he plays with, and he's not out of control either. It's a different level, a different mindset, and I think everyone can feel that, especially the players trying to tackle him.
As good as Kittle's been, how about your other tight ends, Dwelly and Toilolo? What have they provided this year?
I mean, first of all of them stepped it up a ton when Kittle was out. Kittle, it's tough to take off the field because he's extremely good at blocking and extremely good at passing, and the other guys have fit into the roles that we've used him in whatever way we have. Levine is, who I've been with before, but he's a very good blocker in the run game and the pass game. And as a receiver, he can catch, he can get, he's very good in zones and things like that. And he's always ready if we need to throw him the ball, but the ways we've used him, he's done exactly what we wanted. And now he was banged up for a while too. Especially when Kittle went out. Levine had to really tough through some things for a couple weeks. Now with Selleck going on IR, Levine's health has been key because it's just coming back right now. So he's going to have to take a much bigger role here going forward. And Dwelly's been great everywhere we've used him. I mean, he's been a solid number 2 tight end this whole year. He's got as good of hands as anyone on our team, a little bit undersized, but he doesn't block like it. When he's put in the right positions, he's blocked well. And what he did when Juice went out, hopping into fullback, to me has said the most about him all year.
Matt Ryan's jump from 2015 to 2016, I'm sure some of that obviously had to do with being in the system. I think tell me, was he initially struggling with turning his back, to the defense that first year, and either him embracing that or getting more comfortable with that? Was that part of his evolution?
Yeah, I think it's part of everyone's. I mean, having your back to the defense is a lot harder than being in shotgun and being able to see everything. But people not getting open is even harder. So there's a fine line with that. So when you have a guy who's going to be successful regardless of what you do, and has been successful before, there's always easier ways for them to do it. But the cool thing with Matt is he was smart enough and could understand the vision of where you're trying to go and how much it can help the O-line and the running backs and things like that. And that's why Matt was always committed to it and always worked at it. And he did it very well his first year, as good as anyone. But when he did go through hard times, he didn't just sit there and try to go back to what he did. He understood why we were doing it, and he kept working at it. And as our whole team got better, so did he. And I thought he did it very good the first year. But when you have the work ethic that he has and the talent that he has, you only get better. And our players got better around him. We brought in a couple guys who really helped, and that's why I thought he had an MVP or the second year.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.